Hello, welcome or welcome back to my channel. I am so excited to be sitting down and doing, I think, the first time I've done this on my channel, which is a TBR video. We are going to be kind of talking about and still curating my August TBR. I am filming this at the very beginning of August, so I'm hoping to get this out a little bit sooner than later, but no promises. So I already have quite a few books on my TBR already for this month because there's just a lot of books that I have to get to. So we are going to talk about those first, just kind of briefly. I don't want to go into too much detail. Then we will start pulling things out of my little TBR jar. I just kind of found some prompts that I thought were really fun and cute, and I threw them in here, so let's just get into it. Okay, so the first book that is on my TBR, I actually already read, so we're doing great. This TBR, off to a great start. That is Archangel's Enigma, and this is the, I believe, 8th book in the Guild Hunter series. Spoiler alert, loved it. Loved this book. So this series is a romantic urban fantasy with archangels, vampires, demons. I've talked about this series so much on my channel. I think maybe every video I have so far, I have talked about this series. So I'm not going to say anything more. The next book I'm actually already listening to. So again, off to a great start for my August TBR, and that is Caught Up by Nevessa Allen. I am, I think, about 20% of the way through. Slight spoiler alert, not loving it. I fear the people were right on this one. This is the second book in the, what is it, Into Darkness. The first book in this series was Lights Out. I gave that 5 stars. Loved that book. The second one is like a mafia romance with a bit of a like stalker trope. I mean, it's a dark romance. I'm just not feeling very connected to our characters. But again, we're doing great on our TBR. The next book is Darkness of Mine by Alexis Grace. This is the third book in the Of Mine trilogy. This is a new author. This is her first series, and they are fabulous. I received the third book, Darkness of Mine, as an e-arc, so I will be reading that this month, and I'm just so excited. I believe it comes out like the end of this month or something like that. So excited. This is a romantic suspense. We follow Freya, who is a FBI agent, and she is kind of chasing down and tracking her father that is a serial killer, and she ends up having a relationship with these other FBI agents, which is River, Jude, Eli. Oh my god, who am I missing? River, Jude, Eli. Who am I missing? River, Jude, and Oz. How could I forget Oz? That's disappointing. This is a really great series. It's very spicy too. I personally love the audiobooks of these. I think the third audiobook comes out later this year. Yeah, I think it comes out later this year. So I am reading the third one digitally instead of listening to it as an audiobook, but I cannot wait for this book. I am so excited. The next book that is on my TBR is The Battle Drum by Sarah El Arifi. This is the second book in the Ending Fire trilogy. I did read the first book last month, and one of my new favorite fantasies. This is a fabulous fantasy book. But the cover of this is so beautiful. I love the colors. This is our character Honor, and I love her so much. She is so adorable and cute, and she has like a really feisty, headstrong personality, but she's also very soft and sweet, and I love her. There is so much to this book that's like so hard to put into words because I just don't want to mess anything up because it's truly such a great fantasy. But there are different class systems based on your blood. So if you have red blood, you're of the elite, and you also have like blood magic. Then if you have blue blood, you are referred to as dusters, and you are like servants. You are deemed lesser, and you do the work for the elites. Then we have ghostings, I think, or ghosters, I can't remember, but they have clear blood, and they are like the lowest of the low. They do horrific things to these people to prevent them from like communicating and banding together. So heartbreaking. So disturbing. There's a lot to this book, and it really hurts my heart, but it is really such a fabulous story. We follow our main character, Scylla, who was previously in the Resistance, and events happened, so now she's kind of leading a completely different path. She has fallen into drugs, and she is just living day by day, just kind of trying to survive, and even barely doing that. She ends up finding her way back into a resistance of her own kind on her own terms, which was really interesting to read about, and she ends up partnering up with someone who is kind of in the elite class. 10 out of 10. It's really great. So I am so excited to read the second book because the first book ended on a crazy cliffhanger. I'm just excited to see what our author has done with this series. Another great thing is all the books are already out, so you don't have to wait for anything. You can go ahead and just pick them up and start reading them. The next book, I am so excited for this book. This is Her Tortured Beasts by E.P. Bali, and this series has completely taken over my life. I cannot stop thinking about this series. This is the 4th book that is on my TBR, and this is following our Dragon Boy. Look, me and Dragon Boy, me and Xander, we've got beef. I'm not a fan of Xander, so I will be really interested to see how EP Bali can turn me around. I'm sure she will. Her writing is great and it's fun. But yeah, I'm not a fan of Xander, so we're gonna see how this goes. All the other books in the series I have absolutely loved. I'm so obsessed with. I will be reading this digitally on my Kindle because the audiobooks for the rest of the series is just not out yet. But when those come out, I will absolutely be doing a reread of this series because I love the audiobooks. Yeah, I'm just happy to be back into this world and be there with Savage, my boy Savage. I love him so much. I do have other characters that I really love, but I can't talk about them because it would be a spoiler. So just do yourself a favor and go read this series. I don't know if I said what it was about, actually. We're following our main character, Aurelia, and she ends up fleeing from something that happens in the first book. Also, the first book is actually a prequel. It's very short, a prequel novella. Read it though, don't skip it, because you're going to be thrown into the actual first book of this series immediately after those events, and those events are huge, so you have to read it. It's not optional. We are following our main character as she is fleeing from something that occurs in the first book, and I don't want to spoil anything. I'm going to choose to not say really anything else, except it's a really fun paranormal, enemies to lovers, shifter romance. And it also takes place in an academy, which is super fun. I love that. The friendships in this are top tier. The spice in this is incredible. So go read it. The next book on my TBR, which I'm also reading on my Kindle right now, actually. So we are seriously doing great this month. This is Thorns and Fire by Helen Schuer, and I love this series. This is a part of the Blood and Steel series, so I would recommend reading the actual first part of the series, which is the Blood and Steel series, and then you can move on to Iron and Embers. There's just going to be events that are being talked about and characters that you're not going to know who they are, why they're important, and stuff like that. So there's a lot of books to read, but I promise it's worth it. Anyways, I'm about 20% of the way through with this book as well, and this is a slow burn. The first book, it is so slow burn, and when they finally get together, I'm just like, yes, please. And it ends on a crazy cliffhanger, so I'm going into the second book, which immediately picks up kind of where we left off. When I tell you, our man, he is groveling, he is yearning, he is pleading, and he's in pain because he just wants her, and he knows he messed up. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. We love a man who yearns for his woman. This book, it's off to a really great start. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 books that are on my TBR. I usually read anywhere from 11 to 12. So let's pick out 5 more books to give us a bit of a variety. So we're going to go into my little TBR jar here, and we're going to pick out 5 other books. I just have prompts in here, and then we're going to go through my shelves. I also have prompts in here that could prompt me to I think my dog just farted. There are also prompts in here that could lead me to going into my Kindle library, because I think I have 250 or 300 books on my Kindle that I really need to read. So, okay, first book. Okay, I'm so nervous. What does it say? This is actually really fun. So, I don't know. Can you see? I want to make sure you can see. Okay. So it says Mimi picks. Mimi is my dog. So we are going to let my dog pick our books. I don't know how I'm going to do this. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay out books that I want to read from different genres. I'm going to put it on the floor and she's going to pick one. So I will be
okay. These are I'm filming on my phone. These are the 4 books that I have. Knotted by Pam Goodwin, Trial of the Sun Queen by Nisha Tooley, The Night and the Moth by Rachel Gillig, and Blood on Her Tongue. I'm going to see if we can figure out how to get Mimi to pick one.
Which book? Well, okay, I think that was kind of obvious. We are going to be reading Blood on Her Tongue by Johanna von Veen. I am very excited. I am back, and I don't know if you can see Mimi, but she's right here. She picked Blood on Her Tongue by Johanna von Veen. This is one of my anticipated reads, and it has really cool, bloody sprayed edges. It says, I'm in your blood and you are in mine. Mimi knows that I don't read a lot of horror and gothic work, so she is putting me to work this month. I am really excited about this. This says, the Netherlands, Lucy's twin sister Sarah is unwell. She refuses to eat, mumbles nonsensically, and is increasingly obsessed with a centuries-old corpse recently discovered on her husband's grand estate. The doctor has diagnosed her with temporary insanity caused by a fever of the brain. To protect her twin from a terrible fate in a lunatic asylum, Lucy must unravel the mystery surrounding her sister's condition, but it's clear her twin is hiding something. Then again, Lucy is harboring secrets of her own. own too. So let's do another selection from the jar. Oh, okay. So this prompt, this says stars on the cover. So I don't feel like that should be really hard, but let's see. I found a book. Took me like a century, but I did find a book. It is actually really hard to find a book that has stars on the cover. We settled on The Witch's Blade by A.K. Mulford. I have had this on my shelf for quite a bit. Is this the second book in a series? And have I read that book? It is in fact book 2. The Five Crowns of Oakrith, book 2. But I did read the first book. It's just been a while, and I believe this follows a different character. The 18-year-old Redora now possesses the immortal blade, but when Rua discovers the Northern King's uncle is alive and has cast a spell on a Blue Witch army, she realizes that the battle is just beginning. Venturing into the Northern Court, Rua finds herself with an unlikely ally in the new king. Her problems are mounting, and the handsome king is only one of them. With the eyes of her newfound family on her, can Rua prove herself worthy of the immortal blade, or will its magic be too powerful? Danger, intrigue, and thrilling passion ensues as Rua battles to break the witch's curse. 3 more books to choose from. If I can get it open. It gives me a lot of choices. A new to me author. Okay, I made a decision. Kind of, not really. I picked an author because they are new to me. Miss Emily Henry. I have just heard really great things about this author, and I've never read an Emily Henry book, but I don't know which one to choose. People We Meet on Vacation says 2 best friends, 10 summer trips, 1 last chance to fall in love. Then we have Beach Read. August Everett is an acclaimed author of literary fiction. January Andrews writes best-selling romance. When she pens a happily ever after, he kills off his entire cast. They're polar opposites. We have Book Lovers. She's read them all, and she is not that type of heroine, not the plucky one, not the laid-back dream girl, and especially not the sweetheart. In fact, the only people Nora is, oh, I can't read. The only people Nora is a heroine for are her clients, from whom she lands enormous deals as a cutthroat literary agent. And then we have Happy Place. Harriet and Wynne have been the perfect couple since they met in college. They go together like salt and pepper, honey and tea, lobster and rolls, except now for reasons they're still not discussing, they don't. I've definitely heard a lot of things about Happy Place. I'm not feeling Book Lovers, so we're gonna hold on that one. And I don't think I'm feeling Beach Read, so we're either going to do People We Meet on Vacation or Happy Place. I decided I want to read People We Meet on Vacation. Poppy and Alex, they have nothing in common. She's a wild child, he wears khakis. I don't like that. She has insatiable wanderlust. He prefers to stay home with a book. And somehow, ever since a fateful car share home from college many years ago, they are the very best of friends. For most of the year, they live far apart. She's in New York City and he's in their small hometown. But every summer for a decade, they have taken one glorious week of vacation together. Until 2 years ago when they ruined everything. They haven't spoken since. I'm excited. I think I picked good. This was a good choice. Okay, so now we have 2 more books to choose from. Ooh, okay. Why am I surprised by everything? Like, I put these in here. Water on the cover. I feel like this will be easy, but I thought about that with the stars and it really was not easy. Okay, so I found 2 books that have water on the cover. The first one is Heir of Storms by Lauren Hamilton Murray. I did get this in Fairy Loot and it's really, really pretty. And it does in fact have water on the cover, kind of all over the book actually. So this would work. The next one I got at a book convention. This is an indie author. This is From Stardust by Megan Kay. There's water in the background. This is like a pirate fantasy, and it would be really cool to read an indie author. This also has really pretty art in it. Very, very pretty art. So Heir of Storms, it says, I am the girl who wove the storm that shook the world, and I'm coming for my crown. When Blaze came into the world, she almost drowned it. She's a rain singer, born into one of the most powerful fire-wielding families in the Empire. Her birth summoned a devastating storm. It resulted in the deaths of thousands, and she has to spend her life as an outsider. Oh my gosh, the text in this is so big. That's kind of nice. From Stardust. Lillian is a dedicated lady's maid and is quite content in her position, but when the family she works for sets sail across the sea and the ship they are on sinks, she's suddenly thrown into an adventure worthy of one of her novels. You know what? I think I'm going to choose this one. It is shorter and it's an indie author. I just want to give this one a shot. So we're going to choose From Stardust by Megan Kay. One more. The last one we're choosing this month. My camera's on 15%. Ooh! Okay, this is always fun. Dark romance. I do in fact love my dark romance, and there's one I'm looking at right now that I really want to read. So I'm going to go grab that and then we're going to talk about it. Okay. Beautiful Venom by Rena Kent. This will be the first Rena Kent book that I read. It has really cool like sprayed edges with a snake on it. This is the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition. I'm really excited. I've heard really great things about this. It's a like dark hockey romance, and it says, "They shattered my world, now I'll bring down theirs. The problem, I have virtually no way to trace the puppet master, my only lead, the Vipers, an elite college hockey team that rules the ice and the shadows beyond it. To infiltrate their secret society, I set my sights on their weakest link, Kane Davenport. A monster who lured me in only to trap me in a lethal game with no escape." This is gonna be fun. I'm excited. Again, this is my first Rena Kent book. I have like 5 books that I already talked about in the beginning, but the other 5 books are right here that I'm going to read. And I'm very excited. I think we have some pretty great books for this month, and we also have a pretty good variety. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know down in the comments below if you are looking forward to reading or currently reading or have read any of the books that I've talked about, and if there are any other books that I should keep my eye out for. Again, thank you so much. We are all besties here, and I love you, and I will see y'all in my next video. Bye!